Hi, I'm Ben Doucette. I am a business and marketing teacher, and I run the DECA program at Snohomish High School. This is my 35th year of teaching, and I am in my 8th principal here at Snohomish High School. I've spent my entire career here, and it has been wonderful. I don't know all of you, but I do know many of you. So I'm doing this video because I want you to hear my emotion rather than read emotion into an email. I just think that's the way to go. This is about the grading policy that has been adopted by the Snohomish School District. And I'm going to break this into two pieces. One about the process. I have questions, I have concerns, and I want you to hear it from a teacher perspective. And then two about the policy itself and what it's trying to accomplish and my questions there. All right, I will try to be as concise as possible. I value your time. We're all busy people. All right, so let me tell you the story. All right, so last spring in March, we had to make the decision, which I agree with, to go out. And I had 95% of my students engaged in communication with me. They had the ability to do work and to be there. And I had a handful, around 5, maybe 6. Who, for specific cases, simply couldn't be engaged. Lack of internet, lack of technology. They lived in an area. Some of it was economic, some of it was not. But it was a small handful. And then the announcement came out that if you did absolutely nothing, you would earn a B. And I lost half of my students in one fell swoop. So the intention of doing no harm, in my point of view, did the exact opposite. Half of my students checked out. And so that was disappointing. Now, for the students that hung in there with me, I have received cards, I have received emails, I've received text messages, I've received in Zoom meetings, I've received verbal thank yous for what we did in the spring. They saw it as very valuable, and so I feel good about that. Very sad that I lost half of them. So in our attempt to do no harm, I'm not sure we achieved that goal. Now that's always the case with a policy, a regulation, whatever it is. As I teach economics, I have tons of examples of this, that a regulation or a policy intended to do this good has this externality, has this thing that causes harm to some. And we certainly saw that. Okay, so summer comes and we hear we are doing letter grades. We are working on rigor. We are doing this, okay? So end of the summer, getting ready for the school year, and comes to September 8th, I believe, our first teacher day. I'm honestly kind of excited. It's been a long, I spent the last 2 weeks of the summer in my classroom doing stuff, trying to figure out Zoom, Canvas, and to a deeper level and make it work. And a little stressed about how we're gonna make it, but I'm like, hey, let's do it. So half an hour before our first meeting, I receive an email from my principal that has a proposed grading scale attached. I read it, and honestly, I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, well, this isn't what I've been hearing all summer. I've been hearing, attendance matters, A, B, C, D, and, we're doing this thing. And this feels to me like, well, we're right back to where we were in the spring. So our first meeting begins, and from myself and many others, there are questions. There are hands going up. There's messages in the chat. What is this thing? Well, pretty much every question is deflected because this is just a work in progress. Work in progress, don't know. Well, that's what it says. I just got this, not too long before you did. So we do our day. Next morning, September 9th, in my principal's opening remarks, he starts talking about the policy like it is set in stone. Done deal. So I put in the chat, you're talking like this is set in stone, is it? He looks into the camera, says, it's set in stone. Wow. That was fast. No collaboration. In all my 35 years, there's never been a sweeping change like this done without collaboration, but it's the pandemic. So, I'm unfortunately getting kind of used to top-down management, which I have never experienced in all of my career. But I, have read the policy many, many times, and it starts with the word due to the pandemic. All right. So then a few hours later, the whole staff gets an email from our principal asking for questions, concerns, thoughts about the policy. And I reply and I say, you just told us it's a done deal. What's the goal with this of asking questions? And it's either a done deal or it's not. I didn't get a reply to that email, I guess, until the next morning. So we do our day. Next morning, September 10th, school starts tomorrow. We are all very stressed. I have no idea if my Zoom links are going to work, and I have no idea how to test them. So I'm a little nervous. But, so our meeting starts, and it's going to be a short one, and I'm thinking, okay, I can get this thing figured out today. So I don't look like a fool tomorrow in front of my kids, or maybe no kids because they can't get into my Zoom meeting. I don't know. So, I'm sure a lot of people can relate. All right, so, morning meeting comes, principal's going through some things, and then a question comes into the chat about the policy. And a couple things, and I think maybe there was a verbal kind of concern and stuff. And our principal gets red in the face. He looks right into the camera. He points into the camera, and he says that this policy is making up for past systemic racism by this school and our society. It's social justice, and if you're not on board, you need to check yourself and you need to get counseling. And that took a lot of us aback. In front of 90 staff members, now the chat is blowing up with people who are in agreement with that sentiment, and people are visibly applauding, while the people that do not think that this is the best way to help disadvantaged kids have now essentially been called racists for not liking this policy. If Snohomish High School is or has been systemically racist while I've been here, I want to know what system and how, because I am unaware of that and I take offense to that. Now, so this is just hours before the first day of school. I've got a lot of things on my mind, and although there is a lot of people who are hurt by this, like myself, feel this is unjust, inaccurate, we move on. And we move on until last Wednesday, October, 7th, or, yeah, I think 7th. We have a faculty meeting after school. And in this faculty meeting, a mathematical apologetics for this policy is brought forth. Chad Donahue showed us spreadsheets, which, if you do those spreadsheets differently, can show you a completely different thing. It's all statistic manipulation. But he shows us a mathematic reason for this policy. So at this point, I've gotten 3 reasons for this policy. The pandemic, make up for past racism, and mathematic. So I am unclear why. Okay? Why this policy? Now, I believe that we can do better than this. And I've said that from the very beginning. I said it last spring, that we can do better if we come together, collaborate. We have a lot of fantastic educators here. We can do better. And I've always believed that you want to reward and reinforce the behavior that you want, not that you don't want. So the question is, what is this policy trying to reward and reinforce? Okay? And what is it trying to accomplish? Why the change? Okay? And so because my technology here can only do a maximum of 15 minutes, I'm going to do part 2 about the policy itself and what its goals are and whether we think that it actually is accomplishing those goals. So I will be right back with part 2. Thanks for watching.